Good morning, students. In today's lecture, I am going to discuss about mens rea. As a constituent part of crime, mens rea is required almost in all the legal system of the world. In fact, mens rea is based on the famous Latin maxim acts non facit reum nisi mensit rea, which means that nothing is an offense unless done in guilty intent. Pope is of the view that the origin of this maxim lies in the preachings of Augustine, reum lingam non facit reum nisi mensit rea. Lord Cairns says that mens rea is a principle of natural justice under English law. Huda considered that the principle of mens rea is as old as criminal law. It can be traced as a constituent part of crime since 15th and 16th century. Therefore, according to the principles, there are two basic elements of crime: acts reus and mens rea. Acts reus means act must be guilty or an offense, and mens rea means only the criminal act itself is not an offense unless done with guilty intent. It means that the act must be done with guilty intent, then and then only it will be crime. There are two famous cases for better understanding of the principle of mens rea. First, R versus Prince case. In fact, taking a child below 18 years was an offense under the Offense Against Persons Act 1861, and the prince was charged of taking out a girl below 16 years without her father's permission. The girl was proved below 14 years. The prince pleaded that the girl had told him about herself that she was of 18 years. In fact, the prince, in good faith, was of the view that the girl was above 16 years. Justice Blackburn said that in those cases where public welfare, public security is questioned, the principle of mens rea will be applicable, and the act will be punishable even without the intention. Therefore, in this case, Mr. Prince was held liable. The other important case was R versus Towson. In this case, Towson was charged of bigamy. Considering that her husband was died, she married before 7 years, the term of presumption of death of her husband. In fact, she has organized second marriage publicly in good faith, and the court acquitted Towson. Now a question arises: what was differences between these two cases, Prince and Towson case? Prince was held liable not because of he has violated the law, but for not adopting all the measures, all the means to discover the truth, whereas Towson has adopted all the means of discovering her husband and organized her second marriage publicly. Therefore, because of these reasons, Prince was held liable while Towson was acquitted. Now, there are certain exceptions of mens rea according to British law: public nuisance, defamation, contempt of court. These are such acts of such nature that they are made punishable even without mens rea, even without guilty intent. Means if any person causes public nuisance or causes defamation or contempt of court, though there is lack of mental element, there is lack of intention in causes such offenses, the person will be held liable without mens rea. A prominent question arises at this point of junction, that whether the principle of mens rea will be applicable in those cases where the act applicable itself does not mentioned in mens rea as necessary element. There are two views on this point in England. In Siraj versus D. Rutgent case, 1895, Lord Wright has said that principle of mens rea is inherent in every statute unless proved against it. Means unless it is proved that mens rea is not inherent in any statute, it is presumed that mens rea is inherent in that statute. In Havas versus Bimster Corporation case 1910, Justice Candy said that the act should be interpreted literally unless there is anything which clearly specified that mens rea is necessary. Thus, in England, the principle of mens rea has been vanished from criminal law till 1946, because in 1946 Lord Goddard has established mens rea as necessary element of crime in Bryant versus Wood case. Now let us explain what is the condition, what is the position of mens rea under Indian law. In India, the principle of mens rea is effective in three ways. In case of general exceptions, principle of mens rea is adopted in negative sense, because in these exceptions there is lack of mens rea. Secondly, those offenses which used word that indicates mental condition such as voluntarily, intentionally, knowingly, fraudulently, dishonestly, recklessly, negligently, wrongly, wantonly, malignantly, corruptly. And thirdly, in strict liability cases, section 292 of Indian Penal Code. In state of Maharashtra versus M.S. George case, it was held that unless the statute itself does not negates the requirement of mens rea as an element of crime, defendant will not be liable unless he commits the offense with guilty intention. In Nathulal versus State of Madhya Pradesh, Justice Subba Rao approved the opinion expressed in M.S. George case. There are certain exceptions of mens rea under Indian criminal system. Kidnapping or abduction and bigamy. These are cases which are an offense even without presence of mens rea. Kidnapping, abduction and bigamy. Public nuisance, defamation, contempt of court. and offenses which are against social laws. And there are certain offenses under the Indian Penal Code which does not describes mental word. For example, waging war against the government of India 1921, sedition 19 sorry waging war against government of India 120 section under section 121, sedition under section 124, kidnapping and abduction under section 359 to 362, and offences relating to counterfeiting of coins and stamps section 233 to 235. So this was all about the mens rea. I think the lecture was and will be beneficial for all of you. Thank you very much.